committee and the whole organization while you are joining this call today. So as you all know, our topic is guiding students toward the best fit universities. And we had a discussion with each other, and we found out that but all of us share the ideas, because that nowadays does not matter your child or your student, they want to continue their education at home or abroad. Still, there are a lot of challenges for our students to get into the right university. Does not matter it is in their home country, home continent, home city, or somewhere very far from their home. Finding right fit is the biggest challenge. So that's why our guest speakers today, we agreed with each other. So we're gonna kind of lead this discussion toward this topic. And also thank you again, Devyani, to make it happen. She sent out the questionnaire in advance to all the counselors in the school. So we wanted to have your input before we go into the discussion. But this is everything a little bit later. Right now, I want to present our guest speakers, or maybe host speakers already, because we're so long with these people, almost every session cooperating. And the first speaker is Ms. Araba Bojwe. I think I don't really need to introduce her, but I still need and want to do so. As an Executive Director of Admissions and Financial Aid at Ashesi University in Ghana. A member of the executive committee management team at Ashesi, Araba has 20 years of experience in scholarships and grant management, as well as recruitment of the students across Africa. Araba joined Ashesi in 2013 as a director for development and later moved into her current role. She leads the Ashesi admission team to recruit brilliant and talented students with fellowship potential from across the African continent. She also serves as the project lead for the MasterCard Scholarship Program at Ashesi University and has oversight of the project implementation and reporting to the foundation. As the chair of Ashesi Communication Committee, Araba leads the team to develop innovative strategies to give visibility to the university of its partners, such as MasterCard Foundation. Prior to Ashesi University, Araba worked as the program manager for the Ford Foundation International Fellowship Programs, IFP, in West Africa. Araba is a member of High Achieving Low Income Hali Access Network. Araba has a bachelor's degree in French with Spanish from the University of Ghana, a certificate in communication and marketing from the Ghana Institute of Journalism Administration, JIMPA. So please, he has proven track records for creating a seamless student experience, increasing student enrollment by planning, orchestrating targeted marketing strategies, building productive partnerships, and executive success marketing plans and campaigns. He holds a Business of Science, Honors Tourism and Hospitality Management, Marketing, Master of Arts in Marketing, Executive MBA, and is a professional member of Chartered Institute of Marketing in the UK. In his current role, Rakesh leads the university's recruitment, marketing, and communications effort. In his capacity, he spearheads the corporate identity of the university and business development. He further leads cross-functional teams, managers, existing partnerships, as well as stakeholders, relationships, and develop an institutional marketing plan to drive students' recruitment, increase brand equity, and support delivery of the university's strategic plan. So thank you so much for listening. That I think I will not take longer right now, and straight away go and move to our guest speakers, panelists, and ask them straight away with the question. So What does it mean, the best fit university?
Recording in progress.
Sorry. Yeah. What does it mean, the best fit university for our students? Definitely, you can unmute yourself and take turns to respond and start from here. All the attendees, please, you are welcome to drop your questions on the chat box, or in case you want to speak, raise your hand and we'll let you to speak. And now here is the maybe first comment from our guest speakers, and we'll take it from there. Thank you all. Anyway, Araba, Rakesh, Amy, any of you, maybe go alphabetically and Araba starts.
Right, good afternoon, everyone. I'm really happy to be here, and I trust that at the end of this session, we will all feel better equipped to do our work with these young ones entrusted into our care. When we talk about best fit or a good fit university, in my opinion, we're looking at a match between the student's objectives, his or her capacity, as well as the university's program. You're looking at a school where the faculty can help the student reach their goals. You're looking at a program or a school that will offer the opportunity for the student to academically excel and graduate. And so when you're looking for guiding students towards a good fit university, I would say that first and foremost, it's important to have a plan in place over a period of time.
How diverse is the city that you're going to live in? The campus size, service availability, housing availability, work opportunities as a student. And then of course, for some students, immigration prospect is also something important. So looking at the non-academic side and seeking that information and how much each institution can provide that information might be also sort of deciding factor for some students and really help them to understand the fit for themselves.
Thank you, Amy. Rakesh, yes, please.
Hi, I'm Rakesh from Mauritius. So good morning, good evening to all the members here. So for me, the best fit university for me to start with, I think should have at heart the interest of the student. That's really important for me. So the university should be able to take students into journeys that transform their lives and potential. That's extremely important. And it starts here. Like here in Mauritius, what we do, we have a lot of international universities and we welcome a lot of students from Africa, even in Middlesex. 85% of our populations are students from Africa, and we have students from around 40 international countries here. But what we do as a responsible university, instead of just offering the courses, we come, later on after that, we first ask the student what you want to be in your career. Because these are college students. They really don't know what they want to do, what is their career inspiration. So we definitely do, we have a career counseling session. We'll explain them each program that we offer, what it leads to, what is the career path that it leads to, so that we don't have a student ending up in programs and then they drop out after a year or two and then they don't know what to do. So for me, the best fit university is not only a university providing excellent campus, providing excellent learning environment. I think all of us do provide that. The best fit university should have the interests of the student at heart and try to understand what they want to do, because ultimately, I think all the universities here will agree. Our aim is to graduate the student, make sure they don't only get a degree, but of course, these students are employable and they have the tools to be employable. And for me, a best fit university also should understand what is currently in demand in terms of skills that are needed. And then we try hard not only to give academically know-how to those students, but also groom them professionally so that they have all the tools that's needed to be employable. It's a long discussion, but I will just get it here, and then I'm sure we'll have more to add later on. Thank you.
Thank you, Rakesh. Yeah, that's all this. I'm happy that all of you presented some different angles of those of the best fit university, and definitely if we drop down this big topic, we're going to have it like 100 subtopics into below that one. But right now we know, and probably Jim, you will agree with me in that at the heart and the beginning, when I since joined this first time for to IC3 and IC3 Africa Committee, the driving force for this committee was to bring a counseling in every school to help the students. And this came probably from the whole general understanding of the environment and situation and the practices and traditions in the schools and universities across the continent. We actually I want to tell to our speaker that we actually had a questionnaire, to our counselors, and I was like I was asking major question: what is the major problem? So I want you to think about, because you as a people from the other side of the desk, people who are reading those applications, evaluating them, it is definitely you have your understanding and you see a common trend. What are major strengths and the weaknesses of the students? Let me give you a little bit insight of the strengths of the students that the counselors think that the African students have. And if you agree on your side, I would really be interested in that insight. So the strengths is, for some of them, we did not have many responses, but they're multilingual. Some of them, they think they're very, very hardworking and punctual and meeting deadlines and very well organized. They are open-minded because they're ready to go somewhere very far away from their home. Their interpersonal skills and their academical strengths is quite high, so they can compete on international level, and they have strong leadership skills, and they are very, very much self-driven. I tried to filter all these responses, and I would love to hear your evaluation. How much do you agree with the counselors from the other side of the desk?
Kate, this is Araba here. I believe that these are all good qualities that and attributes students have, and it's important to have them. But even as counselors guide their students to all these beautiful things we've said, that universities, best universities or good fit, need to be student-centered, we also need to know that there are certain requirements that we should focus on for most of these schools. Remember that the schools are looking at hundreds, thousands of applications, right? So from my perspective, I would say that as counselors guide their students towards whichever schools they decide to go, they should help them kind of market themselves. What unique talents or perspectives do the students bring to the school, right? How do they differentiate themselves from other applications that we're seeing? Yes, academic qualification is good, but for some schools, we're looking at leadership potential, interpersonal skills, future careers. So yes, they may be punctual, they may have good, intentions, but as we guide them, one major thing I think we should do is to let the students bring their best to the table, right? We've identified that the best or the good fit schools are those that are student-centered, which is important. Well, what does the student bring to the table such that, for some school students or counselors may end up looking for just Ivy League schools, right? And then it becomes a challenge. So in guiding our students towards the best fit, which we've agreed should be student-centered, amongst other things, you need to also give them options, a best fit or the good fit.
Phase of university life. We as a small, we are Middlesex University, we are an international university, a university with only around 1,500 students. So we do invest a lot of time. So part of our induction program at university is the transition phase. So for a week, we show the student, we'll try to make them, for example, if you have a group of students coming from Nigeria, Tanzania, or each other country, we'll make sure that they have their own peers here to increase that bonding. That's really important here. And then, of course, we'll try to show the student the life of the university setup is totally different, because those students are used to schooling time 8 to 4, 8 to 5, but here you have flexibility, you have complete freedom, and this takes time. So if counselors can prepare the students well in advance, and I think that will be a huge advantage in terms of the only student, in terms of how they adapt to the environment. I think that's really important, because this has a positive impact on the way they adapt and on the way they do successfully at the university level.
Thank you, Rakesh. That was very good points, and I actually have a follow-up question for you. But first, I want to give Amy a chance to respond to the question. Yes, Amy, please.
Thanks, Kate. So the student profile that you just shared as an example, hardworking, very good academically, open-minded, leadership, and self-driven student, great portfolio. I noticed one thing that let's say admission committee from York University may be looking at, and I probably even see from the profile, is the passion, personality. What is the problem that you want to challenge in this society? Like, why do you want to come to York? Why do you want to move to Canada? That sort of personality, personal goal is something that the universities these days tend to look at. And then I think it kind of ties to sort of the question of how do students find the fit. And I think some of us already said that students need to know what they're looking for, what they want to do, or what they want to achieve in their career after university. And for students who are able to do the research and then tie those points together, this is what I want to do. And this university in the country are good location for my goal. And when they can tie it together and then put the application together, those students are probably finding the good fit. And universities will know that as well. And those applications in general are very strong for both admission and the scholarship.
Thank you, Amy. That was very interesting and was a new thing that you highlighted, is a personality. So we need our students to understand that not only academic and transcript and paper matters, but they matter as people, with their attitude, with their culture, with their behavior, ethics, views, and the probably values in life, and then it probably comes passion. I think there was a how to say, my dear guest speakers, I love all your speeches, but I'm still on the other side of the desk, because I come from the other side of the desk. And Rakesh was telling us how wonderful programs they provide at the university to do this introduction, adjustment program. But right now, I kind of want to be on my counselor side. And we are telling you, because we have counselors for many countries, many, very, very remote areas. Their resources are limited. They don't have everything what is available to bring into their schools and to their students. And they do have students who dream to become professionals, who want to take this challenge and I don't know, apply to the rigorous universities with academic things. Once they are at the universities, we are sure that you are taking a good care of our students and alumni. But my question is, how university and school, you and the school counselors, or if it is enough, how we should work on a school level, high school level, to make sure that our students are mentally, physically ready to move out, to go to completely different environment, educational system, I don't know, maybe even climate, food, culture, and so on. I think we need to get those students ready before they move to university. So how do you see this process? What will be your recommendation?
Universities are engaging high school counselors is also one very important and very useful way of giving feedback. I remember one of the times we had a tea, coffee chat, and then universities can give feedback, especially on the gaps, because when they come to us, we see what is missing. I have had the privilege at Ashesi University of seeing students who have come from schools where they have counselors, as well as students from schools where there are no counselors. That will give me.
But of course, we perhaps somehow we don't go back and see what's happening. So the alumni can be one thing, and I think feedback is crucially important. So if we have a platform like that where we regroup our counselors, and maybe that's the opportunity where we can share our experiences with them, and then of course they can share the experience with us, and then we can collaborate together to find the best, winning solution for. Because ultimately, I think the aim of IC3, or the aim of everyone present here, is to make sure the students, the A-level, the high school student, are well informed, and they make decisions that changes their life. And at the end of the day, they return back to their country, and then they do something for their country as well. And we're all towards the sun. That's the aim.
Thank you. Amy, please.
Thank you. No, I'm just listening to the other panelists, and I agree with everything that they're saying. And I'm actually thinking about how, from the admissions side, we tend to focus on issuing offers, admitting students. So it starts from, collecting applications, assessing applications, and admit students. But what I'm hearing is that the work that we do should not end there when we admit students. We really need to think about making sure that those students who arrive are succeeding after, and that idea needs to be incorporated into our admission process. And that starts from collaborating very well with guidance counselors and offering information to students and families and counselors in a way that they understand they need.
offering programs where a student can keep learning. So that's really important. So if you see in terms of Mauritius, according to the recent higher education statistic that was provided, so you see top of the list from international students, which of the students come from Asian country like India, and if you see whole chunk of Africa, students coming from African countries, they go for programs which are IT related, technology driven program. That's really important, and I think we at Middlesex, we have seen from the past 2 years, we have seen a huge jump in technological related programs, computer science, cybersecurity, pen testing, cloud computing. We have seen that trends in the last 2 years, and we have seen a declining trend in management related program. I don't know if other colleagues will agree, but this is what we have observed. And perhaps it's too early to say whether this is related to the current situation whereby students are now have seen the importance of going online, the importance of technology, and they're going more into this field. But if we see, if I take it from an institutional perspective, so we have a huge stake, we see that technological program are the second most preferred by international students from Africa. Then of course, marketing, commerce, economics, that fill the gaps into the third place. But for the country, for example, for natural resources, and we rely on tourism, and of course, our tourism industry does, very well. So our program that relates to tourism and hospitality management also appeal to international market and international students. So you can see quite a variety, but if you see the country in itself, we don't have that much of interest into aerospace, engineering, architectural program. So it doesn't appeal to this kind of market for us. Maybe in the future, but not for now.
Okay.
Right,
Thank
Kate,
you. Yes,
I'd just like to add something briefly. I've been to almost half the countries on the continent recruiting, and it's interesting that almost all the subjects or areas my colleagues have mentioned come in. Parents are pushing their children to medicine, to law, business, engineering, computer science. But I want to tie this in to a question I'm seeing from Kavenga in the chat, and to our topic, guiding students. I think as counselors, two things again stand out for me. How do we build, in answer to the question in the chat, how do we as counselors build and manage relationships with parents over the period that the children are entrusted to us? You may think as a candidate for their child, no parent wants their child to fail. So if you can make a case that they are more prone, they're more likely to be successful in one area based on psychometric tests, based on your interaction with the child, then the parent is more likely to listen. So we do have a lot of work to do, and I hope this is just the beginning and we can continue some of these discussions. Thank you.
Araba, wonderful. Thank you. Actually, I was about to go to this Dawengua's point then, and you did it for me. Thank you for that. And absolutely, we all completely agree with you. I think with the counselors as well, like in some cases, they feel desperate because they think that they are they don't have right to talk to parents on behalf of their students, or they don't have I don't know, the enough tools or authority to convince in something and to make them to change their minds as well. But I think it's not the main problem here. What do you think?
As it looks for now. So I would say start, if you can start at the very onset of recruiting that student into the high school, at least the last 2 years, you should start before their very last year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sorry. Yes, Amy, Rakesh. Divyani, can you please, the Brian, we do have a background noise. Divyani, can you please help us?
Everyone's muted.
There is one is Brian, can you please, sorry, mute your microphone. Yes,
I think it's a little better now. Yeah. Thanks, Kate. I again agree with everything what Ara said, and the parent orientation is actually it's the silver lining of the pandemic is that there are a lot more sessions, information available online, and parent orientation is something that at York University expanded online the last 2 years so that parents from overseas can connect with the university after their children are disabled, for parents and students overseas and in Africa as well. I think that's there's an opportunity there. But I do agree that starting early, because if you think about students who are, let's say, at York University, or students who are coming from Toronto in the province of Ontario, they've had the entire life looking at the university options around their hometown. And they have older brothers and sisters and cousins and uncles who went to universities around here. So there's a lot more information, and I do agree that for international students, if they start looking for universities and start doing the research in the beginning of grade 12, it's so much rush. There's a lot of information that they miss out, and they get confused. It gets stressful. I think that if counselors can really push students to start thinking about the different countries and locations, university options, programs as early as possible, will be helpful. And the universities are now offering a lot of opportunities for grade 10, 11 students, even younger students, to connect with us, join the summer programs. Summer programs, again, these days are available both in online and in person. So if the students are not available to come to Canada in person, they can still attend lectures with their professors online and discuss with grade 12 students in Canada and meet with current university students here online and really get the feeling of the university and the program and what the program is really about. So utilizing those opportunities as early as possible, it will be a key to success, and more opportunities available these days.
Thank you very much, Amy. Rakesh, maybe we'll just give the floor to Rakesh to reflect on the last questions. And now the participants, we are ready to hear your questions. Please drop your question in the chat box or raise your hands, and we'll give you the floor to speak. And Lily, please, Lily Adolfo, please go write your question or raise your hand or whatever.
Thank you. The question,
please, yes, go ahead.
I'd like to ask is that I'm a special needs, I'm a dyslexic facilitator. Now, most dyslexics have a skill, right? My son is actually dyslexic. So I'm asking this question because I'm on the dyslexic spectrum, special needs. I go to schools to do counseling. I direct them with subjects because I was successful with my son. And I've had training and everything in the UK during the COVID. How best do all of you on the panel help these dyslexic kids in your school? I've seen liberal arts, as you have already mentioned. Parents, I have struggled with parents doing something different. They don't want to accept the skill the child has and all that. So what help does Canada, Ashese, C3, how do you help someone like me when I'm doing counseling and everything?
Thank you, Lily, for the question. Amazing. Good luck to you. And it's really fascinating. Yeah, it's not an easy job. And yeah, please.
I think I can add to that. I mean, as any other university, we are mandated and we are required to accommodate all students on our campus, and I think that's really important. So irrespective of course, what can be the student ability to learn or not. So we as a university, we can't discriminate admissions based on any kind of disability. And of course, the student will have to show potential to complete. So we at Middlesex, we have support in place for student with disability. I won't take a specific case, so I'll just take it as a whole. And we have a committee that will assess cases, and we'll make sure that the student, of course, is up to complete. And then we have support in place. For example, we have something called the LET here. So it's a learning enhancement team, whereby trained staff are available to help students who struggle with academic writing and learning. And those LET teams are not only staff, but they also form part of students who are part of the team, because what we've seen is some may disclose their disability, some may not. Some don't tell us they have a specific disability to learn, etc. So then we train students to identify those people who struggle, and then we try to give them additional support beyond classroom that's required, because you'll agree with me, some teachers may not be trained to deal with.
Some students, almost 75% blind student. What do you do? So we give them accommodation because it's difficult to read. So when an exam is an hour, they may get 2 hours to write the exam. So we put in place a system to support them. But we need, as universities or institutions of higher learning, to be aware and to have the capacity to do that. Other than that, we're setting them up for failure. And again, there are pathways, and we shouldn't try to push all of them into the regular university system. Thank you.
Araba, thank you. That was, I think, the wonderful question, but what you said, but I think Lily also said, and the Rakesh, and you mentioned like the people, like to say briefly, the people who are in denial. I mean, what I think, maybe you find out at the university, you find the students who was admitted or something, and you're finding out that there's some kind of the special need. It's not reported, it's not disclosed. Do the university has this capacity to call upon parent, family, and say, okay, here's the need, guys. So that was admitted, accepted, whatever happened. But these are the cases that you need to take care. You need to admit it, and you need to. I mean, you need to pay attention, because there is a special need. That special need can be very. I mean, we know the spectrum can be endless, like if too big. But as a student, as a university, if you discover it later, do you approach to families?
We have had a case like that. We did call the family to say that, and in fact, they were not even aware. They thought it was just a troublesome child. So in walking with them, talking to them, they ended up getting professional assessment. And then we looked at how best to support the student. I mean, the good news is that the student actually graduated, maybe a bit longer than it was on the lower end of the autistic spectrum, but the parents just thought this was a troublesome child. So again, I think it's important that we pay attention, and it brings me back to my favorite topic, building and maintaining relationships. Very important.
Thank you very much. That was fantastic. point,
I would like
they
to.
might not even know, and that is always important to share, communicate information in a way it's accepted and understood, because it happens. Families sometimes, you know, they don't realize, because there might not be the huge problem which is that much visible, but it can get worse in with ages as well. Thank you, Araba. Yes, and Amy wanted to comment, and Rakesh, we come back to you. Yes, it's about, yes, sorry, Amy, please.
Thanks, Kate. So in Canada, like I said earlier, universities here are public institutions. So supporting students through challenges, disabilities is education here is public service. So it's our mandate to support and assist all the students. So if the student and applicant already have diagnosed disabilities at the time of application, if they are already aware of it and they have diagnosis, it's important they let us know so that we can have their applications reviewed by the special committee that we have here at York. And those students are connected with our student accessibility services as soon as they are admitted and decide to come. International and Canadian students to really find out that they need additional support after they start the university. And in fact, the university offers our own counseling services for those students who feel that maybe they need some support, but they don't know what it is. They should go to the counseling support to really find out what it is. So that service is available in-house at the university, but also the province of Ontario actually offers a similar counseling service for all the university and college level students in the province for both Canadian and international students. There's 24/7 phone service available for students to call anytime. So if you are up at 2 in the morning and they need to talk to somebody, they have a number, free call service available in the province. So there's a lot of support available. But one thing I want to mention here is that here in Canada, the information that we receive from the student on their disability or any additional support that they need is confidential. It's not going to be disclosed to the parents or counselors, high schools. It won't go on their transcript either. So it's dealt confidentially between the student and the institution or the health in Canada. And then I think that I talked about the York University, but I think it's the case for almost all the institutions here in Canada.
Thank you, Amy. Just a reminder, for the sake of time, I want to give Rakesh this chance to respond, and then Araba has some important announcement to make to you. And I see actually great questions and topics in the chat box. And Devyani, can you be so kind to keep them for us, record them, and maybe the next Africa Committee meeting we schedule another meetings. And yes, Araba, and we go like take small portions, because the topics are endless. We know that, and we can keep going very long. Thank you again very much, Rakesh, and then Araba takes over to do an important announcement.
Yes, I think I would like to just add a point on the role of parents, and I think Araba and Amy, extended on that. So mindful of the time, I'll just be quick. We also had similar cases whereby we understand parents being protective and didn't disclose a particular special requirement for a student, and then where unfortunately the parents set the student to fail, because we as an institution will never know. And on top of that, we have counselors, trained counselors here, psychologists to guide the student. And then we end up sadly knowing that the student ultimately withdrew from the university because of this problem. So I think it's an important the guiding role of parents to disclose this information, and the supporter here as a university. We are here to support all students, irrespective of their special requirements.
Thank you, Rakesh. And just one sentence, as a head of school here, I had these cases like, and the first time it was very difficult because we saw there was something kind of the problem. And we kind of a little bit slightly pushed a parent to go to the counseling service. And after exactly 1 week, like yesterday again, I did have another parent requesting a confidential meeting. I agreed on the meeting and they came and they shared, okay, here is the.
Please each and every one for this hybrid conference. I've shared the link for the registration in the chat box. Happy to share even my email ID if you need any further more information. We also are offering scholarships for people who find it financially difficult to attend. So I'm sharing the link for that as well. Please feel free to write to us, and we're happy to take your registration forward. We welcome you to come and attend, and if you can't attend in person, please do attend it virtually. I'm sure if you found this session